Hi everyone! Now that we are done in Module 21, now we are moving on to Module 22, which is the cognitive development of the intermediate schooler. Okay, when we say cognitive, meaning it is an intellectual activity like thinking, reasoning, or remembering. And when we say intermediate or late childhood, they are at the age of 9 to 12 years old. The learning outcome. At the end of this module, we'll be able to first, examine the cognitive characteristic of intermediate school children. Second, important factors that affect the cognitive development of intermediate school children. And lastly, enumerate ways on how teachers can promote creativity in the learning environment, learning activities, and instructional materials. According to John Piaget, it is with the children that we have the best chance of studying the development of logical knowledge, mathematical knowledge, physical knowledge, and a faith. Quite interesting, and that was actually factual, isn't it? Since children in this stage are already in their late childhood, ang rapid development ng mental skill nila ay obvious or evident na. Piaget also said, concrete operational thinkers can now organize thoughts effectively, although they can logically perceive and comprehend immediate situation. Most case scenarios, they were able to apply their learned knowledge and ability in some events or situation which they can manipulate. But limited lamang ang reasoning and logical thinking ng isang intermediate. Through guidance from their parents, teacher, and the community, they can easily succeed in their intellectual endeavors. So moving forward, let us identify the initial cognitive characteristic of intermediate schoolers in terms of utilizing their abilities, thinking skills that basically become more effective than their previous years. Like, schoolworks are now more complicated. Kung dati pinagkukulay lamang sila, pero at this stage, more complicated na. For example, magsasagot na ng question like math problems. And reading text become longer. Problem solving become part of their lives. They are now become interested about their future. Let's say others want to be a doctor, and the other ones want to be a teacher, a nurse, and more. They develop interests and hobbies like some kids want to dance, want to paint, want to draw, want to play basketball, and more. And capable of understanding concept without having direct hands-on experience. Kahit na hindi nila na-experience gawin at nakikita lang nila, is kaya na nilang maintindihan ang isang bagay. Earlier, nabanggit ko yung concrete operational thinkers na according to John Piaget, sa concrete operational thinker sa late childhood, for example, may dalawang lalagyan na may same amount of water. Sa concrete operational thinker sa late childhood is alam na nilang same yung amount ng water kahit na magkaiba yung lalagyan. For you to understand, I will show you a short video about John Piaget's theory in the cognitive development of the late childhood. Stage 3, the concrete operational stage.
Piaget's theory argues that we have to conquer 4 stages of cognitive development. First, the sensory motor stage. Second, the pre-operational stage. Third, the concrete operational stage. 3. The concrete operational stage, ages 7 to 11. We finally discover logic and we develop concrete cognitive operations, such as sorting objects in a certain order. One example of this is inductive reasoning, which means that if we see someone eating a cookie, we can draw a conclusion and then make a generalization. And we now get the concept of conservation. We understand that if we pour orange juice from a normal glass to a taller one, the amount stays the same. Our younger sister will pick the taller glass, thinking she gets more. By the same logic, we only now can understand that if 3 plus 5 equals 8, then 8 minus 3 must equal 5. Our brain learns to rearrange our thoughts, to classify and build concrete operational mental structures. For example, we now know that we can reverse an action by doing the opposite. Excited by our new mental abilities, we apply them in conversations, activities, when we learn to write, and in school. As a result, we get to know ourselves better. We begin to understand that our thoughts and feelings are unique and not necessarily those of others. That means that we learn to put ourselves in someone else's shoes.
There are 5 initial cognitive characteristics: the reading development, the attention, the creativity, impact of media, and the media and aggression. So first, reading development. Children in this stage are marked by under-application of word attack because of the presence of their previous knowledge. They have wide vocabulary which enables them to understand the meaning of unknown words through context clue. This is a stage in reading development, what we call reading to learn. Children are no longer into fairy tales and magic type of stories, but are more interested in longer and more complex reading material, like for example, fiction books and serious books, but we need to choose an appropriate book for them. Next is attention. Older children have longer and more flexible attention span compared to younger children. Their span of attention is dependent on how much is required by the given task. As we can observe, in terms of schoolworks, they are more focused and was able to concentrate for a longer period of time, especially if they are interested in what they are doing. According to James Russell Lowell, creativity is not the finding of a thing, but making something out of it is focused. Children at this stage are open to explore new things. Creativity is innate in children. They just need a little guidance and support from parents, teacher, and people around them. They are usually at their best when the work is done in small pieces. So what advice that should give to the parents and teacher is to encourage different responses from each child. You have to celebrate their uniqueness, break stereotypes, and value the process over product. In this way, we will be able to reduce stress and their anxiety. We just need to support their shared ideas not only with teacher or parents, but also with other kids. Always be reminded to minimize competition and external reward. That is very important. As for the record, we also have the impact of media. We're said to be that television is dream in every classroom. Since 1950s, television was considered as one of the first technological advancements in school. The impact of its use and other media like computer has gained popularity because students are given more opportunity to communicate effectively in speech and in writing, to work collaboratively, to be able to use technological tools and develop expertise. Also, analyze problems, set goals, and formulate strategies for achieving those goals. And lastly, seek out information or skills on their own as needed to meet their goals. If there are good impact of media, then there are also negative results. Media and aggression. Violence and aggression are often dubbed as one of the results of media. According to the Public Health Summit in 2000, negative results of media were children will increase antisocial and aggressive behavior, may become less sensitive to violence, and those who suffer from violence may view the world as violent, becoming more fearful of being a victim of violence. Why do you think is that? This may be the result in adapting what's seen and what they are exposed with, like what you see in the picture which is ginagaya ng bata yung pinapanood niya. One of the primary reasons why they'll have this mindset is due to parents' negligence and lack of attention and wisdom. In that case, children will view violence an acceptable way to settle conflict, which is obviously inhuman and unacceptable. Do you agree, guys? Having a role model is extremely important for children at this stage of transition. Children need an adult to admire and emulate. Role models also provide them with motivation to succeed. One of the most important roles of teachers is to become a very good role model to children. Application to childcare education and parenting. Parents, childcare providers, and teachers should be able to an eager participant in child's growth and development. Understanding how to use the children's natural curiosity to help make appropriate developmental leaps in their skills and abilities, and creating an atmosphere where risks can be taken and discoveries made while children remain safe. That's all for Module 22. Thank you for listening.